Jimmie Gipson began working for Houchins Industries as an accounting manager in 1965. He was named CEO in 1993. Houchins has been a household name in Southern Kentucky since that first Houchins store opened in 1917. Jimmie Gipson, a 1963 graduate of Bowling Green Business University, the forerunner to the Gordon Ford College of Business at WKU, sought to advance the company while holding true to his hometown traditions. Under Jimmie Gipson's leadership, Houchins' portfolio has been diversified and strengthened. The company has reached into the areas of insurance, web development, retail, grocery and convenience stores, construction, paving, trucking, recycling, financial services, property management, and more. In 1988, he saw one of his visions for the company realized when Houchins employees became its owners. Today, Houchins Industries is 100% employee-owned and the largest such company in the United States. With Jimmie Gipson at the helm, the company's projected net revenue for fiscal year 2007 has grown to in excess of $2 billion. The company currently has more than 15,000 employees. Houchins Industries was ranked number 140 last year in Forbes magazine's largest privately held companies list. In November 2007, Jimmie Gipson was named the 2007 Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in the Kentucky-Ohio region. Jimmie's vision of advancement in the business world stretches beyond Houchins Industries, but encompasses our entire community. In 2007, Houchins partnered with WKU to enhance an expansion and renovation of Houchins Industries L.T. Smith Stadium. Houchins is the primary sponsor for the Kentucky High School Athletic Association's girls basketball tournament held annually in E.A. Diddle Arena, which brings millions of dollars of revenue into the Bowling Green area economy. Houchins also sponsors the annual Boys and Girls Club's golf tournament, the not-for-profit's primary source of annual income. Jimmie Gipson is not only a terrific business leader in this area, but a highly respected and a go-to guy in our community. Our next inductee, Mr. Jimmie Gipson.
It may be his quiet confidence or his knowing grin that, along with a simple philosophy of faith, family, and community, has propelled Jimmie Gipson from accounting manager of a family-owned grocery chain to the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar enterprise.
I highly encourage our people to put their God first, their family second, and their job third. I'm a full believer in that. And I like to see people enjoy their work, have a good family, have a good financial secure living, and have a good retirement. That seems like that would be pretty successful, but a lot of people see things differently. But I'm not trying to overly emphasize simplicity, but simple life's not all bad.
Born and raised in Edmonson County, Gipson grew up playing basketball. And it's there, he says, he learned the importance of teamwork, where the team does the winning, not the individual. After graduating from Bowling Green Business University, Gipson began work as an accounting manager for the regional family-owned grocery store chain Houchins in 1965. 33 years later, Gipson orchestrated a series of maneuvers that led to Houchins employees becoming its owners, making Houchins Industries the largest employee-owned company in the United States.
Jimmie is very modest. He's really just sincere in that the employees get the credit for where the company's come and not himself. He does not want to take credit, even though his leadership has put us here, but he wants to make sure employees get their recognition. That's the number one thing.
Well, I'll speak to his humility as is. He's not self-promoting at all. He is not modest and humble when it comes to accounting terms. When he's in a room full of men and we're talking business and the numbers need to be dissected to see what needs to be appropriately done, Jimmie steps up, and uses his expertise to guide the meeting. So he is very appropriate as he does that, but he's also very powerful in a discussion that involves the dissection of and analysis of the numbers of a business decision. Appropriately so, might I add. I think that Jimmie, it should be said that Jimmie is really the epitome of the American dream. I mean, Jimmie came from a humble background, and he's not ashamed of it all, and he worked very, very hard using the resources that Western Kentucky University offered him for his education, that Mr. Houchins offered him for a vocation, and then using all of that experience to be able to create something that also is going to allow literally thousands of employees of Houchins Industries to realize the American dream.
Under Gipson's guidance, Houchins Industries has diversified and now employs more than 15,000 people with a projected net revenue of more than $2 billion. But success hasn't spoiled this gentle business giant. Gipson is committed to giving back. As a result, a number of nonprofit organizations and causes have benefited, including WKU. In 2007, the company made a significant contribution to enhance an expansion and renovation project of Houchins Industries' L.T. Smith Stadium.
Well, I think Western reaches more people in our geographical area than any other thing that you could help support. I think the education is so important. Public education is really important. It gives a person who might not come from a high financial background an opportunity to become very successful. So I'm a highly supporter of public education. I think the most meaning from that comes from the student who comes from Tompkinsville, for example, walks by, sees the stadium, sees the name on the stadium. Well, more than likely her family or relatives may have worked for Houchins in the small towns. So I think that gives them a connection to coming from a small town to a larger town, to college life that, well, I would think it would give them a little bit of a warm, fuzzy feeling that, hey, this is maybe not so bad, and it gives them a tie back to their community, which is very important.
There's not a man, I don't think, that loves Western more than he does. When it came time for choosing colleges, he stated, there is not a better college, there's not a better university that has more to offer than Western. I always tell people that he has had the same seats in Diddle Arena for over 25 years, I'm sure. We all sat there growing up watching Western basketball, and now not only, have his children enjoyed that view, but now his grandchildren are getting to enjoy the same view that we had as kids. His employees are, he shows that Western spirit even to his employees, not only his family, but, I'm sure it makes them proud to see their name on Houchins L.T. Smith Stadium.
I just really try to enjoy life. I try to enjoy a simple life. I've been very successful, been very blessed, but I still consider my common friends my best friends. I don't try to, I might be able to buy a more expensive sport coat, but that's not really important. I just like things simple. Good. It's good to have good retirements, good to have good jobs, good friends, good family. But to try to change that after you've become more successful maybe than you were previously, that's just not me.
2008 Hall of Distinguished Alumni inductee, Jimmie Gipson.
I do thank the selection committee and all the WKU staff that put this fine arrangement together, and we appreciate that more than what I'll ever be able to express to you. And what a great job the selection committee did in selecting someone with the credentials of Miss Francis. That's overwhelming to me, to somebody that special that comes from Western and from this locale. I think that was just a superb job. And what an accomplishment for a WKU grad. WKU being a small college in Kentucky, and to turn out such graduates is overwhelming to me. And the fact that her success story is going to reach most every American if they live long enough. And oh, by the way, someone left this little thing up here. If I'm up here more than 4 hours, call the doctor. Can you imagine the letdown that the selection committee must have had after having such a selection as Ms. Francis was? And with, you know, to me that's awfully great, and to have been on that committee, and what do you do next? So I think it would have been probably nice to have been a fly on the wall. And if we had been, I think this is probably what we would have heard, that after much hand-wringing and head-bashing, they must have decided to choose an average Joe. Then once they came to that conclusion, how do you narrow that? Because there's so many average Joes out in America. So they had to narrow that, I'm supposing. And then they came up with something, well, we got to have something challenging if we're going to go with the average Joe concept. So then, after a little more hand-wringing, they apparently came up with, well, maybe we make it challenging and have someone from Edmonson County. And one of the comments in the back of the room came from, oh, that's too big of a challenge. Okay, then maybe we just reduce the qualifications a little bit. And maybe we say, maybe they graduated from WKU. If this was committee's thinking, then I probably made the cut. Talking about the average Joe, you know, that's a little bit hard to define. It's probably consists of someone not hot, someone not cold, sort of like not bad, but not good. Someone not dumb, but not smart. Addressing the Edmonson County issue, my parents have always told me that I was born and raised in Edmonson County, so I'm going to qualify on that one also. Now, for the ones of you who might not been from this region very long, Edmonson County is not noted for its high-tech society. They do have basic education, quality teachers. And while in high school, situations developed there in Brownsville and Edmonson County that taught me a big principle that I've tried to apply most of my career since then. I had a great desire to participate in sports, and I always wanted to be on a winning team. Being average made that a challenge. I began to realize my best shot was to work a little harder than the average person and apply those efforts to make my teammates better teammates, which would elevate the quality of the team. My junior and senior year, we had basketball records of 25-6 and 26-5 those 2 years, which was pretty phenomenal for a school that had mediocre records most of their previous history. And this is the same principle we try to use at Houchins Industries. My career could not be considered successful without super management associates that are associated with our company. They can shoot the ball. My job is to get the ball to them. Now, the third criteria the committee apparently came up with, that maybe you're a graduate from WKU. My first year of college, I went to Western. I wanted to be a coach. You had to have several health courses and biology courses. And Mr. Coach Fikes was always very emphatically pressuring you to go to class and be there on time. Through some process, I thought I could take some accounting courses and have a career in accounting and maybe make enough money to then allow me to have some time off to participate in sports. So my sophomore year, I went to Bowling Green Business University, which most of us know as BU. Not having had any accounting classes in high school, I soon realized I was anything but average. As months went by, I realized BU not only had degrees in accounting, but they had degrees in higher accounting. Now, if any of you professors are wanting to get some grants to study something, it would probably be interesting to study what is a higher accounting degree. I never did understand the difference. The one thing that anybody that was involved in the higher career accounting, they had to have 7 a.m. classes with Hoot Holland. And that, for the ones of you who don't know them, is very, very terrifying for an average Joe. Through some miracle, I was able to graduate in the August ceremony from BU. The previous May, they had merged with their Western. So maybe I did graduate from WKU. The one thing being associated with Western is something that I've endeavored to do all my whole life. And it's something South Central Kentucky, I'm concerned, doesn't realize the value. We could talk all day about the value that WKU is to this community. But the real bottom line is the people who work and live in this community, without WKU, their livelihood would be greatly diminished, in my opinion. As you go back, almost everything traces back to a benefit that's come from Western Kentucky. I think it's time that we as community people, everyday people, begin to show more support for Western. Not that we don't show some, but we could fill Diddle Arena, we could fill the new football stadium at every game. I think we owe that back to Western. Western has given this community unbelievable financial support for many, many years, and I would like to see that happen in the future. Again, I would like to thank the selection committee. As Ms. Francis said, I'm humbled by this award. I would like to thank my friends, and you noticed I had an S on that. Both of them are here today. Thanks to our vendor and service providers. You can't have a successful company without people like that supporting you. Thanks to my kids and grandkids, Joe and Angie and Alan and Candy and special granddaughter Lauren. Thanks for tolerating a dad that believes in tough love. I thank you and I appreciate that. To my wife Ann for her support and raising the Brady Bunch. And thanks to my associates at Houchins for providing an environment where special people can have a successful career. And we couldn't put this up on the board today, but it's so important to me to share with you. We had a store manager from Birchville, Kentucky. I know you can't see those, but I'll read from them. He retired, and here's what he put up on some handmade boards that he put in the store. And I thought this was very, very humbling. To all customers and co-workers, our greatest task that we have been given is to serve God and serve others. It is my prayer that I have done both. Our friendships have made my life better, and I hope you feel the same. Thanks for allowing me to serve you, each and every one of you, your friend Barney. Now, Barney's mother drowned in the creek behind his house when he was 10. He raised his sibling, went to work for Houchins when he was 15, and retired with a financial, life-changing retirement. And that's the great thing that you really get out. These are great award ceremonies, but the great thing about it is an average person like Barney had the opportunity because of our associates providing for him that opportunity. And that's what I'm most grateful for. Thank you, and may God bless you.